Alrighty, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be using HELM, which is the captain of MAST's squad, which is the Aegis squad, Aegis, I believe it's called Aegis. But HELM obviously has already been a character that people were using. I want to see somewhat of a meta character, right? Basically meta of a character already before MAST has dropped, but she actually works quite well with MAST in terms of the supporting aspect of crit buffing, because her first skill, when the last bullet hits, all allies actually have their critical rate for only their normal attack increase for 5 seconds. So if you can actually get her to let out all 6 shots within literally 5 seconds, then you will always everybody on your team will always have that crit rate buff, right? And it is actually possible if you just don't full charge and you just shoot, then you should be able to do it. So yeah, literally with the combination of MAST, we're going to be having the crit rate buff and stuff like that. This is actually good that it's only on I mean, it obviously, if it was like crit rate in general, would have been better, but for characters who don't crit or don't have damage besides their normal attack, this is quite good for them. So this is not a bad skill at all, right? Of course it would be better if it was just crit rate in general, but like a lot of characters only get their damage from their normal attacks, right? Because their other skills are either buff skills or something like that, right? So this is not that bad, right? And obviously normal attacks are more efficient than, like, you know, everything else, because you're always shooting with normal attacks. So we're gonna try using this character, HELM. I think I might like put her in the middle. We're gonna run this team, right? I think I'm gonna put her in the middle, just so that, because I think I just have to, like, what is it, when the last bullet hits? I made sure she doesn't have the highest attack as well, right? Because Julia is on the team as well, right? I think MAST is a very cool character for a lot of people, because literally she unlocks a lot of like, you know, makes it that you can use other characters that are not just like pilgrims, right? But before we get into all this, subscribe and like, of course. Let's try it. Well, we hit 4.5, so thank you for that. But yeah, let's try to get like 15 likes on this one. So literally, like, does that count? Okay, wait, let me see. Does that count now? Do we have the crit rate? We don't. So it has, the last bullet just has to land, right? So if I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, it actually has to hit. Okay, there's a lot going on now. Wow, that's a beautiful. Okay, it's Aegis. Okay, it's Aegis. So we have the crit rate buff. What is it called? Frontlines command. So we do have it, right? And it doesn't stack or anything, but we do have it, right? So you kind of see the only problem with HELM is, like, I guess actually I have to reset, right? There's a big problem with HELM actually that you definitely don't want to have, because I knew it already, but I forgot to mention it. The thing is, when you're using HELM, you can't use her as the main burst 3, or she can't be one of your first 2 burst 3s, because she can't, her burst skill hurts a massive burst skill, because when you shoot you recover HP. If HELM recovers MAST's HP past 70%, you lose it, right? You lose the buff, you lose everything happening, right? So you don't really want, I mean, I don't know if you actually, like, actually, let me see. So let me see, actually. I'm gonna use Modernia's burst skill, or HELM's burst skill here. See if I can get it off. And I did. So let me see. So right now, do we have this buff still? What is it called again? It's called Pirate's Grit. So does Modernia have Pirate's Grit? Just to make sure. She does. But now we're past 70% for sure. Does she still have Pirate's Grit? No, she loses it. Yeah. So literally, because we still have so much seconds left, right? So literally when you pass 50% or 70%, you just lose it. So you cannot use HELM's burst skill when paired up with MAST, because she's going to heal her back past 70%. So if you are using HELM, you're only using her for her first skill, and you're not going to be, like, you know, you definitely don't want her to be paired up with or the, like, one of the first 2 burst 3s. Like, if you're running her with MAST, you have to have 2 other burst 3s essentially, right? Just so you can get the full, you know, capabilities are going, right? But obviously we don't have her buff, right? Like I said, we have to control it ourselves. So if we just do this, so now we should have it, right? Because that was the last bullet that hit, and I believe it's called Commander's Frontline. Yeah, so now we have the crit rate buff, and then boom. Right, boom, and then we should get it again, right? So it's quite good. Right, it will work. The only thing is like the charge, right? That's if you're not doing it manually, but you still will get it every time when the last bullet hits, so it's not really that big of a deal. If anything, you could always bring Privity as well to like lower the shot, so it's only 3, so when you enter a full burst it's not as bad. But yeah, you can kind of see like the crit rate is coming into play, right? I mean, let's take a look. Right, like Modernia, well, Modernia crits all the time. Let me look at someone like Julia, right? Modernia always crits. But yeah, you can see Julia crits often, right? Quite often. So yeah, I mean, it works. The only issues is it depends on how you want to go about it, really. It just really depends on how you go about using her, right? Because with her, if you want to like spam it, it is doable, but I want to say you have to do it manually, and you cannot use her as the main burst 3 or the second burst 3. So it's kind of iffy. At the same time, it's not, I mean, it is, but it works. It definitely works. Like what you're getting, it works. So I like that you can use both of them at the same time. It just sucks though, like she heals on her burst skill, right? I mean, it's not like you need her burst skill realistically. Like her burst skill does damage, but it's only to one enemy, and it's like not that crazy, so it's not like you're losing anything. But by using her with MAST, you're forced to bring 2 other burst 3s. That last slot could have been Arya, who could have given me more crit damage or something like that, or it could have been like Privity, right? If I'm trying to avoid my Helm from using her burst skill. But you can see when we get those crits, right? 42 from Julia, 20k, 27k on the core hits there, 17k, 23, 16k, right? And on an average, it's 13k crit, right? And on a core hit, it looks like 18k crit. Was that 18 or 15k on a core hit? Can't really tell. I mean, if we, hold on. If we, where's my cursor? If we attack this right here, you can see it more often, right? So 25 when the core hits there. Right, for them crits. But yeah, it works for sure. It definitely works, right? You attack these guys up in the front slot here. 20k on the core hit on average. Yeah, so you can see, I mean, I think the crit meta team, or I don't know if I'd call it crit meta, but I think the crit team made it doable. There's a lot of options. Helm is a good option, but I probably wouldn't recommend it that much. Just because I feel like you can use somebody else who does a better job. I think Arya would still just be better, because she also gives a crit damage, right? Like all Helm is giving, really. I mean, she gives an attack buff as well, right? I didn't even mention all the other stuff Helm does, to be honest. So yeah, let me like not discredit all this. She does give an attack buff when you enter a full burst, and then all allies also have their damage, the interruption parts increase as well. And then burst skill, like I said, we're going to try to avoid it, but she does heal there as well. But you are getting an attack buff, so you're getting crit rate and an attack buff. So she is usable. She is, you know, a option as well. Would she be my go-to option? Probably not. But she definitely works. I would say Helm definitely works. 17 million from Julia, 46 from Modernia. You know how Modernia gets, right? So yeah, I like it. You guys let me know what you think, of course. Let me know if you guys do use Helm. Probably just better with Scarlet, but your boy would never know because I don't have Scarlet. But like I said, bro, if you made it to the end of the video, subscribe, like, and that's that, bro. Helm, Helm and MAST, obviously, they work quite well. Both in the same squad, so I expect them to have some, yeah, maybe, well, you would think with Biscuit and Nero thing, right? But I like it. I think it's cool. Both of them, great characters. You guys let me know what you think. It's your boy Zxous. I'm out. Peace.